Yeah, everyone, this is Thermite, and this is Battle Angel Alita, Volume 2. I don't really care for this cover at all, really. I mean, I didn't really care for the previous one. I thought it was alright, but it didn't blow me away. So, this might just be a trend. I hope they all have, like, Alita's face on them, though. Like, I'm probably just going to, for the last thumbnail and for this one, I'll probably just use, like, caps of her face. But I haven't looked at any of the newer ones, and I'm not going to, because I want that to be a surprise. But I hope that they'll have her face, or else it's not going to be a very like I don't know. It's not going to be a theme that keeps on going. Oh my gosh! I just realized the subtitle for this is Iron Maiden. The other one was Rusty Angel. Oh, that's so cool. Like, I don't know how much they could do it. I really like the idea of them combining like a reference to the fact that she is a cyborg combined with the fact that she is a girl. Like, I don't know how many idioms are like that, but I mean, I'm sure they could just make more of them. Especially since the series does seem to have a very like it has a very healthy relationship with localization just by the name itself. The fact that it went from Gundam to Battle Angel Alita, I think that's super cool. Like Ghost in the Shell is very similar. Like Ghost in the Shell is a fantastic title, whereas the actual title is like what was it? Like Super Police Force or something in Japanese. Like it's a boring title that does not like at all hint at what the series is really about. Whereas Gundam kind of fits, but just like I think it's a hard pun to get by. Like even though it is a pun that works in English, it's not a pun that like is easy to understand. Whereas just like getting rid of the pun altogether and making it a very simple title that just talks about the main character, I think that was a good idea. Ooh, I really like that. Like again, this is something I don't think I've seen before. Maybe I actually now that I think about it, I might have seen this before. But like just this idea of a cyborg like a cyborg skull as a flower pot and the flower is the brain, like that's such a simple super good like just cyberpunk visual that I don't think I've seen before, or if I have it must have been like super minor. In fact, if what I'm thinking of just a like an album cover, and that itself may have just been a like a reference to Battle Angel Alita because this is a 90s series. Oh my gosh. Anyways, without any further ado, let's go right in. Ah, that is such a cool statement. Every living person consumes other lives, steals from the weak, and dumps its waste into the sewers. No exceptions. You hypocrites cannot stand in judgment of me. Like, both of these lines are really, really cool. This is true. She isn't. She's after him because he tried to kill a baby, and also because he attacked her, but the baby's the main thing. That is really cool. Like, again, this makes her very similar to Ugo, actually. Like Ugo isn't a hunter warrior because of the money. He's a hunter warrior because he just enjoys it. Like it calls to this base nature in him, and he's kind of ashamed of it. But in the same way, like it calls to her base nature, and she's not ashamed of it. She's very open with the fact that this is I don't know who I am, but I know that this is something I enjoy. I know this is something that like speaks to something deep within me. And if this mean if indulging that means that I am fulfilled, not even if I know who I am, but just if I can just find my true self, not even my memories, just if she can find a purpose. I think that's very compelling. I believe that every human can choose her own way of life. We can choose to be ugly or beautiful. Ah, what a statement. How do you like that, King of the Worms? The writing's so nice. Also, even that, you're as pure as a knife. I instantly understand what that means, but I don't think I've heard anyone say that before. Like I know in Japanese stuff I've heard, you're as pure as a sword, or like, you are like a sword. But you're as pure as a knife is such a better way of putting it, because a sword is, a weapon for battle, whereas a knife is just, a thing that cuts. Like it's so much more simple and therefore so much more pure. Oh, okay. If ignited, it'll blow this whole underground shaft sky high. Hmm. Or at least I get to die in the arms of my lover. Oh man, okay, he's the one who detonates it. Oh, oh my gosh. Like, I'm assuming it's the two of them, but it also resembles a fetus very clearly. I guess in general, he's kind of like a fetus, like, in addition to being a worm. This is true, actually. Like, he doesn't have to have that form. I did say before that it's a very practical form. It's basically just a head and a spinal column. He can plug himself into anything. And in fact, he later did, in fact, do that. Oh, we are getting a backstory for him. Okay. I didn't think we would. Yeah. Oh, man. He was actually like. Oh, no. I think that's supposed to be an animal, not him. I was going to say he's like a fetus. No. Okay. So he was just a child. Or like a newborn child that somehow managed to survive on his own and eventually just became this. Ah, he got a whopper of his sewer rats. Of course, all they would show him is, horrible things. This would be the darkest side of humanity, really. My injuries got infected, my body essentially festered and rotted away. Right. hmm Oh my gosh. Huh. He's got the same dot as Ugo. Like, for a minute, I thought that was actually Ugo, but I don't think so. I think it's just someone else, but they're both probably doctors, and they both definitely have this dot on their foreheads. Hmm. Okay, so this was his subconscious. Like, this is the body he wanted. Oh, Ito. That's it, not Ugo. Sorry. Oh, that is really cool. Yeah, he is, like, he's the purest form of a scavenger because he didn't have an original body there. Like, or he didn't have an original cybernetic body, I should say. All he could do is hijack other cybernetic bodies and eat brains in order to, calm the weakness in his brain. Or not the weakness in his brain, like, eventually I assume it was just to ease the pain and then later to fuel his addiction. I destroyed just to leave the signs that I had lived. Right. That's really clever. Oh my gosh. I didn't even think about it. Like, he went from being, the lowest of the low and being ignored or just, being hated to being incredibly powerful, but at the same time being alone, being hated, being, so invincible that it was exactly the same as when he was the weakest person imaginable. Yeah, I think like, put it perfectly. He is in love with Alita. He's in love with her because she was the first person to give him, like, real attention. Like, even that guy that he had, working for him, in the end wasn't giving him, like, real attention. He was just basically just a lackey. He was there because he was like, "Oh no, I don't want to die." So I'll help him kill other people. Or not even I'll help him kill other people. Like, he was buying brains for him. So I assume it was something like they worked out a very brief partnership of just, "Hey, get me brains and I won't kill you." And so he was just doing everything he could in order to, keep his new master happy. Oh man. I don't know if it's a sin or something to be proud of. I don't know if it's hate or mourning. All I know is that my tears flowed for him. Yeah, like, he wasn't a good person, but I think I said perfectly last volume. I don't like I don't think he was a good person at all. I don't sympathize with him, but I empathize with him. Even if I can't, like, understand perfectly what he felt, or like even if I can't, like, understand his mindset perfectly, even if I can't, like, stand firm with him, I can't say like, "Oh, that was the right way to live." I can still understand all the emotions he expressed. I can still understand him even if I can't understand him. That's such a strange way of putting it. But yeah, I feel very sad that he's dead, while at the same time I think that was a net good in the world that he's gone. What a pitiful existence, really. Like, he didn't ask for it, and in the end he became a curse. And he had no say in it, really. All he could have done is die. In that instance, I can't fault him for choosing not to die, or not to just roll over and rot. Fate gave him a powerful cybernetic body that could get him what he wanted, and we fault him for for doing exactly that, and we fault him for reaching forward to a future that he wanted with this limited expertise. Is like, it's not like he could have just gone and got a job. The concept of a job did not exist in his mind. He was stunted for his entire life. Of course he would turn out like this. In fact, the fact that he's this eloquent is surprising. Man. So I guess that's the end of the arc. I'm wondering if this is actually no, this has to be a dream, right? Yeah, because she was standing there. It's not like she passed out. Huh. Why did I hide my arms? Also, that. What an interesting way of showing, like, the difference between the two of them. There's this, which, I mean, this could just be a surgery scar, or it could be like a self-help, or a self-harming scar. The fact there's only one makes me think it's probably surgery. But at the same time, it's very much a human hand, and then hers is very much not. Hmm. Also, he was surprised, but he wasn't surprised that she was a cyborg. He was surprised because she just weighed a lot, which is fair enough. I think that's really cool. Or not really cool, because we don't know that much about him, but like, I don't think he's discriminating against her because she's a cyborg. I think that's just, that's just her being ashamed of it for, no real reason. Or like for a reason that he didn't like give her evidence to like back up. Okay, so we've had a bit of a time skip. This is also really cool. Like, I'm wondering if it's going to be kind of Monster of the Weekish for a bit. Like, I assume there is an overarching story, but I'd be down just to see some more, like, general sci-fi bounty scenes. Or just, like, bounty arcs. That's one thing I love about sci-fi in general. Like, anyone who watches Star Trek for the ongoing story is completely alien to me. I think the best part of Star Trek has always been the fact that it is basically just a show about philosophy. That's one thing I really like about the Orville, the Star Trek parody that came out last year. Because even though it is a parody, it's also like surprisingly philosophical, or like it easily oscillates between having very comedic episodes and having like surprisingly serious episodes, like episodes you wouldn't expect from a parody, episodes that are basically just straight up Star Trek. If like if Alita is mostly story driven, I'd be okay with it, but I really do hope it isn't. I really hope we get a lot of just general bounty stories. That'd be super cool. See, I genuinely can't tell what are translation notes and what aren't. Like, I have to assume some of these notes were had to be in the original. Like, werewolf pill, for instance. Like, this is the thing that exists in reality. And I can't imagine that the translators would have been like, oh, let's just clarify this with information that isn't, in the original. So it had to come from somewhere. So I feel like the original had to have included this note. I'm not going to really bring it up that much more because I think it's kind of annoying. I don't like to bring up the same thing over and over again. Just, this is so strange to me. Not bad, but it is strange. Um, I wanted to mention that if it, like, is this all subliminal? Like, is the fact that he turned into a werewolf, like that he grew fur in that, is that all due to subliminal messaging? Or is there, like, something else to it? I mean, I'm okay if it is just all subliminal messaging. I'm okay with that kind of logic. Just, it seems very strange. Okay, and that's how that happens. Mhm. Oh, okay. Basically a dead body. It's not a crime to scavenge parts. Oh no. Oh my gosh, this is fantastic. Like, she's pretending to be a damsel in distress, and then with basically just one little kick, she just crushes his face. Oh my gosh. He even let her put in the supposed killing blow. That is amazing. Also, okay, this seems sketchy. Oh no, are they gonna tear his spine out? Oh, that is horrifying. That is actually horrifying. Okay, so he is kind of a garbage person. I was hoping it wasn't him. But yeah. Oh man. Also, it's really interesting that he calls specifically Ito repairs. Like, not a general, I mean, this is a slum city, so I guess they don't have a general hospital. But it's really interesting that he called specifically Ito repairs. Like, I guess this is just a thing they do. Like, they do rescue people. This. All right, Iron Maiden. Okay, so I'm assuming that these are like all named after individual chapters. Like there was a chapter in the previous one with the same name as the volume, and this is called Iron Maiden, which I assume the volume was named after. That doesn't mean that we can't have like once a volume a chapter that is that sticks to this naming scheme. It makes it much less likely though. I assume this might have been a coincidence at first, but if they can keep it up, that'd be super cool. Oh, that's really neat. Hmm. Oh no, this is not a good. This isn't a good romance. I mean, I guess in general, she's had bad, like just bad luck with boys in general. She's got an okay father figure, but in terms of boys she can get with, not good. The two we've seen so far, not good. Damn it, that's why those kids stole mine. That is also just very interesting. Like in general, like the backbone has a lot of just, how do I put this? There's a lot of just significance that comes along with the backbone in a very just metaphorical way. Because, it is the thing that supports your entire body. So there's something very interesting about people who specifically steal the backbone. Also, from the Omake last volume, or it feels weird to call that an Omake, like the extra stuff at the end of the volume. I do like that they specifically said, the factory isn't really a factory. It's one of the places in the slum that, serves Zalem. Also, just this entire idea that, yeah, Zalem just drops their garbage here. And then even so, the people who live in this garbage, in the end, like the factories serve Zalem. Ah, that's so weird to think of. Like this place isn't just, it isn't forgotten. It isn't just people prospering in, the remains of what is left behind. No, like Zalem has thrown all the stuff away, and then they're also micromanaging it to get something good out of it for them. I'm glad this is so like confined because yeah, you could come to a realization like this. Also, in the first chapter, again, she had the whole thing with Ito where she liked someone as, as someone who, she just liked in general, like not liked. And then it was revealed, oh, it seemed like he was doing something sketchy, but he wasn't. So now, if Yugo, if she learns what Yugo's doing right now, she is not going to immediately jump to the conclusion of no, he's a bad person, even though she should. She's going to just go, well, the first time that happens, it wasn't bad, so maybe this isn't bad either. Also, I really do like that they are like, they're trying to keep her hopes up. They're saying like, hey, don't worry about it. Even if he's human and you're a cyborg, that's not a big deal. Wait, how does he know about that? How does he know about that? Okay, so he's just one of the random people from the bar. That's super cool. What a design. Like, what in the world? How could you see like this? I was just trying to shake him off. Aw, she's love struck. Eh, see, I do think this is like in most of the series. If someone comes to a conclusion I don't agree with, I'm not going to say they're wrong. I think this is a series smart enough to just have like it knows when it's saying something that is like not completely airtight. So I'm not going to try and like say, oh no, this is objectively wrong. I think this is a fair conclusion to come to, but I also disagree with it. Especially because like in the series we do have this whole thing of the body restricts the minds, which is fine. But even so, I don't think that having, the body of a weapon means that you cannot love someone because even love itself isn't that physical. I feel like love is mostly a mental state of attachment. And so even if your body isn't designed to like to do the physical parts of love, I don't think that restricts your mind from being able to innately love someone or like to have, to be attracted and attached to someone. That seems very, very primal. I don't think that's something that anything can take away. Like affection is something that is just so deeply rooted into human beings. I cannot imagine. I mean, I guess. I don't know. I might need to look further into that actually. I guess if you strip someone down to just like the most base reptilian parts of their brain, even then, like even reptiles have, like not group hurting feelings, but like they mate, right? Ah, what a shot. What a way to just feel her sheer hopelessness, or not hopelessness, her loneliness. Also, I really love the fact that Zilem is hovering over them. And it's got all these like guide wires. It it gives it this very interesting presence in that you don't always have to see Zilem up in the sky. All you have to see are the wires to remember, like, yeah, we are beneath them. That is so neat. In a way, it's just like me, an artificial creation where people live in the cracks between the junk and the machines. Also, I love all the cyborg designs. They're all so strange, but they are like the concept of yeah, these were all designed by someone is super interesting because it means either these designs say something about the person who has them because they wanted them, or even if they didn't, even if it's just they're super poor and they had to just make do with a random design. I think that's really cool in its own right. This idea of like the way you look is super important, and not everyone can control everything about them. Like even uh, I'm currently dealing with this like hair problem that's resulted in like this weird dark spot here. It's the worst, and like that's something I can't control, but it is something that like changes the way I look, and that's always bothered me. This disconnect between like the way you're perceived and the way you are. I don't think that anyone should be perceived in a way they don't want to be, but that's not how that's just not how visuals work. There are always things about you you can't control, and then there are things you can control, and then there are things that you may put a lot of thought and effort into, and there may be others you just don't. Like I'm wearing this Michael Jackson shirt because I thought it was cool because it's dark. What I would really like to wear that Heisenberg shirt over there because it's the same shirt that my boyfriend once had, or it's not his, but it's like the exact same design. However, because of the lighting here, I can't wear anything really white or anything really bright. It reflects, it looks really bad. My colors are all washed out. And also, even if I try to fix it, because of my skin tone, it doesn't work at all. Like it's too bright, which in turn makes my face too dark. That's just something I can't, I just cannot film myself wearing that shirt. And it bothers me. But I I can't change it. And that's so the entire concept bothers me. If I could, I would love to just wear a mask and then wear the shirt and be like, "Hey, look, I look exactly the way I want to." But just like the lighting situation here does not permit that. I'm sorry, I'm rambling again. It's just I'm just endlessly fascinated by that idea of external forces forcing you to look a way that you do not want to look, or restricting the way that you are permitted to look. That is so deeply interesting. Oh no, she doesn't want to eat rats. That's kind of strange though. Like, I feel like if you lived here for long enough, you'd be down with rat, right? I mean, even I would be down with eating rat if I had to. Like, I think they are, they are very gross. Like, they have a lot of diseases and stuff, or like they're the vector for a lot of diseases. But I feel if you prepare them properly, there shouldn't be a problem, right? It'd be like, breeding chickens or whatnot. It seems like they all really like him. Hmm. Doing dangerous, dirty work for big money. Hmm. This is worrisome. Huh. Okay. Hmm. You better pray to God for forgiveness because you won't find it from Alita. Whoa, what a line. Also, it's really interesting that he basically just liquored him up a ton and then, like, walked him over here. That's definitely a power move, but not like an evil one. Like, he probably got Yuko to agree to something he shouldn't have agreed to. Like, this is definitely a pressure move, but it's also kind of cool, I guess, that, like, he is publicly associating with this super young kid who came from nothing. Hmm. He's on my side, right? Aw, that's super cute. Like again, I love small people who can carry big things. That's such like it's such a simple aesthetic, but I really do like it. The idea of like a tiny creature doing something real big. And oh, I just realized this isn't even a conversation I had with Alita. I'm thinking of a different series. But like Alita does factor into that, the fact that she is so very small, but she was able to fight someone giant. And just in general, her super strength means that she can do things like this. I think that's a really cool, just visual concept. Okay, so he's been in league with him from the start, or not from the start, but since 3 years. He said straight up, like, this is the deal, and he's honestly been doing it. Wait a minute, he already has it? Whoa. I do think, oh man, it's the shipment to Zlm. Right. Okay. So this is how he could get Yugo to go up. So I assume his offer is going to be like, hey, do you really want to go up there? If you do, you're gonna have to start at scratch. You're gonna have to start at level 1 again, which is fine, but like you can't be this scummy up there. Or you can stay down here and live like a king. That's really strange. Like I don't know why Zalem would do this. Like the Deckmen are basically anything they can do anything that a human could do, right? Because they are literally just like they are cyborgs. They are human brains that have been broken or that have been, reprogrammed to serve Zalem unquestioningly. So why would they do this? I feel like this is a lie. There's no way, right? There's no way. Also, this is very amusing that this liquor is called Heaven's Gates. Like, I'm assuming that's absolutely a reference to the cult, right? There's no way it's not. This manga is too smart for that. Right. Again, he's gonna have to start from this. He's gonna have to start from nothing if he goes up there. All this money only gets him, the trip up. Hmm. All right, I was spot on there. I don't know if he's lying or not. I feel like he has to be because this doesn't make any sense. I cannot imagine Zalem, like going, oh, well, our current system that is controlled by robots that we all completely, understand 100% they can't betray us. That's not working out. Let's switch to a system that's run by by hoods basically, by, untrustworthy people from the slums. And if they are believing that, then this dude is completely insane in the idea of, oh, then we can skim more off the top. Because then that would be very obvious. Like, oh, well, clearly we're losing more product than when the Deckman did it. Oh, this is really cool, though. Like, yeah, he didn't want the luxury. Like, he didn't want to beg in the streets either, but he wanted to see the world from a different vantage point. I guess the difference is, would you rather see the world as, a rich person in the pits of the slums? Or would you rather see it as, a poor beggar in the sky? Another 100,000 chips. Also, I do like the fact that they still don't know each other's secrets. Like, he still doesn't know Alita's true strength. That is so neat. 10 million, I can make that in a month. Huh. Ah. Okay, this is a bit worrisome. Also, this kind of hits home to me right now. I recently told my parents I was going to do some traveling, and they were quite nervous about it because I haven't really traveled a lot, and I haven't, like, wanted to travel. But, for obvious reasons, I kind of want to now, a little, mostly to one place. Ah, so this is how you've been doing it. Oh no. Oh nope. Oh dang. Is he going to blackmail her then? Or blackmail him? Oh man. It is really cool to see like the strength of a hunter warrior though. Like a hunter warrior who's not Alita. Like just, this is child's play to him. Oh man. Is that a Molotov? Oh gosh. Ah. Oh, that's gonna be it. He's gonna somehow manage to get Alita to kill him. Oh my gosh, that is horrifying. I mean, I can't imagine the psychological damage that could do to Alita. If she ends up accidentally, like, just cutting off the head of the person she loves without a second thought. I'm, I don't know. I don't know if I trust Vector or not. Like, at this point, I feel like he would absolutely try to get rid of, I absolutely think he would get rid of him, like, immediately. At this point, he can't be trusted. Especially this. Like, yeah, he almost certainly wants the money. I don't think he's going to keep him safe, though. Though I don't know. If he does genuinely, like keep him safe, then even though I assume he's going to die at the end of this arc, I might trust Vector going forward. It really depends. He could go either way right now. Fair enough. Also, it's cool that number 10 is the one that we're going to work with the most. Like, after we got that little backstory from him, I imagine he's going to be a character that they've met before, perhaps, maybe? That seems like such a small detail that is probably going to, like, mean more in the future. And yeah, he knows nothing of it. I mean, it could be that he just does not know of, the underworld in general, but still. How does Yuko feel about you? Right. Like, again, uh, if you're traveling, you should travel at the very least over, like, mutual affection. I know that's kind of, that's kind of a hard thing to say for some people, but if there's mutual affection, then I think it's okay. I would definitely not go somewhere with someone just because we think we like each other. Or like, oh, we're kind of friends, but we didn't, if there's something more we haven't confessed it, that'd be very shaky. Right. It doesn't matter. Like being in a metal body does not matter here. The body might affect the mind, but I don't think that changes the way a romance should work. Like clearly Alita feels romantic feelings. Like she feels affection, she feels love, obviously. Like the fact that she's feeling this proves that her body does not like restrict her from it. Ugh, what a way. No, I'm not running away. I'm just holding myself back. That's it. She's scared of what he could do, what she could do to him. She's too powerful. Oh no. Oh no. He tore his head off, right? That's going to be his revenge. He's just going to show the head to her. Fearsome Zapan already. Right. I really like that. I like the fact that we didn't get that much focus on him, specifically because of this. Because, yeah, to us, he was just one of the faces in the crowd. I'm sure he's there. It's just I didn't even bother looking back. Okay, so he just took the heads of the two accomplices, but he hasn't tracked him down yet. Okay. Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. What now? What now? Yeah, so she's gonna try and protect him. Oh man. Yeah. No, come on, you can't. She can't, but at the same time she can. Like I can understand it. I can understand that rush of, your first love. I mean, trust me, I'm beyond my first love. But still, I can understand that feeling. And especially for someone like her, someone who doesn't have memories of any, potential past loves. Of course it'd be hitting her like a brick. These, that rush of emotions of just everything. It is just a debug process. I, I think that is such an interesting way. Like again, the whole concept that like the slums exist because Zalem just dumps garbage there, and the factories in quotes, run for the sake of Zalem. The fact that people live there is only important in the sense that we don't have to send people, we don't have to send Zalamese people down to like run the place. It's just there is labor there, but apart from that, it doesn't matter. Like their politics or like whether they need that money to survive doesn't matter. It's just they automatically put out bounties, and those bounties are filled because they don't want too much unrest down there. At the very least, I do like the fact that the doc is like like he's weak enough, and especially because his body hasn't been modified, it makes sense that he would be taken out like this, or like he's nowhere near Alita's level. I really like that again, that asymmetrical feel. The idea that she is so far above him that all he can really do is kind of be a hostage. This is true in its own way, though. If you let him grind you down, you become like them, human scrap. I mean, I don't think all those people are human scrap, but I can see his, again, I can understand his outlook on life. If I do kill Yugo, I'll crack my own skull so I die. God damn. Yeah, this is definitely like, I don't know how old she is. I assume she is like, a teenager. But again, these are definitely some teenage emotions. I've definitely felt this before. Oh man. Oh no. I'm so scared for her. Like this is, ah. Apparently my body recharges on days like this. Oh, that's really cool. Huh. Right. I could definitely see that. Where does Zelem's sensor shaft go? Why doesn't it fall over? My theory is that the shaft isn't stuck in Jerusalem. The city's hanging from the shafts. Hmm. That's such a silly concept, but like, again, this feels very sci-fi in its own respects. This idea that, hey, why not? Like, why couldn't this be possible? I don't think it is. Like, I don't think this is the actual answer in the series, but hey, why not? People need to have like crazy concepts like that. That's part of what makes sci-fi so cool. I think that's so cool that someone in like in universe in the sci-fi series can have these very like out there sci-fi ideas. That's why she was scared. She knew that they were going to be shot down or something. She knew that she could not dissuade her husband from doing this, but at the very least, she didn't want Hugo to die. Oh, they didn't even manage to get into the sky. They just burned it down as soon as they got caught wind of it. Oh, okay, no. So she sold her out specifically because she knew, like, yeah, if we fly up there, they'll definitely kill us both or kill all of us. At the same time, that is, oh my gosh, that is so complicated because I think she was right. Like, she was right, but at the same time, now there's no closure. Like, Yuga will never know whether it would have worked or not. It like there is a tiny possibility it could have worked. Who knows? But because of this, he'll never have closure. He'll never truly know. He'll always hate her for being the person who killed his big bro, who stopped them from having, from doing the thing that could have worked. Trade you this hand for mine. Hmm. Okay. The vector was also kind of low, like, he was small scale at this time. Okay, so the way this happens makes me think that he really did go up to Zellem. Maybe not that he has a way to, to get Yugo up to Zellem, but at the very least, this is true, I think. Or maybe, it's possible that she was also just lying, and for a moment he was trying to say, like, hey, don't tell him that fake story. But then because he said it really, he had to go along with it. Like, he is sweating here. And this manga is, like, it does a very good job of only putting in sweating when someone is lying or, like, genuinely nervous. It's never just like a random accent thing. Oh, that's a really cool way of putting it. When the person you love is entranced by something much further away than you, it's hard not to feel jealous. Yeah, it may have not even been the fear of, oh no, what if we go that far? It could have just been the jealousy of you're putting that much love into it. Like, why don't you care for me as much as you care for this idea of leaving the scrapyard? Huh. Oh man, that creates a really powerful parallel between her and Alita now, where Alita is, looking at the guy she loves who is about to leave, and she's wondering, like, well, aren't you giving up on this world that we live in? Aren't you giving up on the scrapyard? Does that mean you're giving up on me? Does that mean you don't love me? It's it's not 100% correct, but it is definitely a path I can understand. That's not the worst idea. Maybe I should kill you. Hmm. Oh wow. Literally the same man. Return to substance. Hmm. Oh, okay. Huh. Okay, I've heard of Cartesian dualism before, but I didn't know about this specific phrasing of it. That's really cool. I mean, I think she'll win, but still, this is very scary. I don't know if this is the right thing to do. Oh my gosh. That is so cool. Like, we know that she has electromagnetic powers. We also know, like, she said the whole thing about, lightning storms powering up and whatnot. Oh my gosh. That is so cool. Like, what a way to finish someone off. What a way to use the environment, too. Yeah, so now no one's there to, like, to rat her out. But still, there is one way. Hmm. I mean, she could transplant his head just onto her temporarily to, like, to keep his brain alive. And then he could also get a cyborg body, right? Oh, man. Okay, so she activated, battle mode to get this far. Hmm. Oh, man. Yeah, this is quite the revenge. You killed him already? Oh, wow. Yeah, screw you, Zapan. I think she's keeping the head alive somehow. Like, this is just a show, but in the end, she's going to have the head transplanted onto a cyborg body. I really do like this though. What a clever way of taking the wind out of his sails, of making a complete anticlimax of his big revenge plots. It's also just it's a very cool way to like give her more cred in the hunter warrior community. This idea of, oh man, she's so hardcore. She killed the man she loved, and just walked around with his severed head. Yep, she's providing life supports. Oh, ah, that's genius. That is actually genius. Oh my gosh, what a way of using the established lore of the series. Ah, and even this, the fact that those streaks now look like tears. Oh my gosh. Ah, I think this is the final chapter of this volume. Okay, so I think Vector really was trustworthy in the end. Like the fact that he got this panel specifically, just poor kid got himself killed. I mean, maybe we'll get another panel of him just being a scumbag, but so far, everything we've seen makes him seem like fairly credible. Like, just, yeah, he's part of the underworld, but it doesn't seem like he lied to Yugo specifically. Hmm. Right. Legal, very legal. Not punished for the act. Bounty has to be buried rather than cleaned for chips. Okay, yeah, so she definitely kept the head alive. Or, like, he's going to live his life in secret now. The world at large, Yugo is dead, but now he will live on as a different person. Oh. I was cast out as a limb, and I know full well there is no way back from the surface. What a cool way to put that. Oh, that also explains Vector. Like, I do think that was legitimate then. Like the whole scene where, he said, "Oh yeah, the girl said that he was from Zalem." So okay, so Zalem does send their outcasts here, in addition to people living here normally. Oh, the symbol on my forehead is the sign of a Zalem citizen. Does he have one? No, he doesn't. Oh, hmm. So was that girl lying? That is really cool, though. Okay, so the other doctor was also a Zelemite. All right. I'm really glad that we're getting closure on this part with Vector as well. Send me up to Zelem, Mr. Vector. That's really interesting. They want a single body's worth of biological samples each month. Like, specifically one body, but like all the pieces, like, cut apart. Okay, so it is self promotion. Or like, oh, that might have been it, actually. It might have been just, that was his self promotion, but the girl he was with had heard that before and just, blurted it out without thinking. Or, she blurted it out as if it was true because it was true. And that's why he was sweating, because he didn't want to give this kid false hope. He genuinely didn't. But just, that was the line he usually uses, and he didn't want to, reveal that it was a lie in front of someone else who was, totally bought it. Get out unless you want to be sashimi. Oh man, okay, yeah. Vector is scummy, but he's not horrible. He's not like irredeemably scummy. Like, yeah, he in the end he did lie, but I can sympathize with him. Like, it's not even a sense if I empathize with him. I do genuinely sympathize with him. I could definitely see being in a situation like this, where like it's a very sort of, I guess, vaguely Saul Goodman like way of living. Like, he just in the situation, he never like he did lie, but he never actually expected most of those lies to take off. Like, yeah, things are real scummy, but even that's like the idea of putting him in charge of one of the factory relay routes. I think that might have been real now that I think about it. I think he did that specifically because he was like, oh wow, this kid's really doing it. He's really going to get 10 million. I can't really send him up. But, he's really good. He's genuinely really good. I want to make his life genuinely better. So, hey, I'll give him this opportunity. Feel the wrath of the Sabat crab dance. That's right. Oh my gosh. Continuity is fantastic. Ah. Literally got him by the throat. I really like the way these volumes seem to be structured, where like the first volume was basically a full story, and then it ended with it ended another story with one chapter left basically. Well, actually, if you think about it, the first volume was one standalone chapter, and then an entire like arc that would that had like one chapter missing that was in the next volume. And then this volume was very much the same. It was like that final chapter, and then the rest of it has been all another arc. and I assume the next volume is going to have like the conclusion to this story and then the start of another arc without that conclusion. That's a really cool way of setting up volumes. I said this before, but um, oh yeah, I was saying that with Assassination Classroom, they don't use quite the same setup, but it is like it's a really cool way of staying serialized while also making really, really, really addictive volumes. And I think this series, like so far, has done it even better than Assassination Classroom did, because Ass Class, like it has more chapters per volume, whereas this has fewer chapters, but they're very long, like monthly length chapters, which makes them very meaty and makes it easier to have like almost a full story in each one, but leaving out just the ends. Genius, absolute genius. Hmm. So I'm assuming Class A is higher than Class B, right? Yeah, because the factory is the most important thing. Killing people is separate. Killing people is just like, we don't want things to get restless. We don't want, chaos to reign because then it's going to just it's going to impact our business. Whereas this is no, like if you directly impact our business, that's way worse than if you unintentionally, if what you do like kind of impacts it or it could impact it. If you directly hurt us, then yeah, screw you. You're going to die. Oh, that's real cool. Like they are basically like police boxes, but just they're police boxes that are also policemen, basically. That's really cool. Like that's a really interesting like Japanese look at like the future of police boxes, basically. Also, I like how basically tight all of the logic within the series when it comes to the Hunter Warriors is. It's all very clear, very easily explicable. I'm sure there are like little loopholes that are eventually going to be taken advantage of, but if there are, I'm not really seeing them. That's true, they are like the Deckmen. Oh, that's real cool. Fabulous mouth, biological. Ooh, that's really cool. Like they're attached. They specifically seek out the imprint on the brain. You literally cannot ever dodge them. Like you can get somewhere where they can't hit, but as long as like it has the ability to hit you, you can't like distract it or make it go for false targets. The scrapyard remains a hotbed of crime, right? Again, this is something that is very dystopian, very like post-apocalyptic, but it's something I really like. Strangely enough, this idea of like a world that is super corrupt, even though like treating criminals is very very unrelenting because like it amps up the stakes on both sides. It makes it very interesting to like run campaigns and whatnot. Oh, that is so clever. Oh, that is super interesting. Like I would have never like dug that deeply into it. Oh my gosh, that makes so much sense because it's something that you would understand if you have like some understanding of basic Buddhism, as a lot of Japanese people do. There's that whole idea of Shinto when you die, atheist while you live, or no, it's, I'm trying to remember what it is. I think it's supposed to be like Shinto while you live, Buddhist when you die, or like and then atheism throughout. It's that whole thing of like Japanese people juggle two different spiritual beliefs, but they don't really believe in either. Or like the idea of literally believing in them isn't that like it's not something you're supposed to like literally believe in, but you're supposed to believe in it because everyone else believes in it. It's so interesting. But I really like the idea of Alita like taking that concept and then just casually like, making a small tweak on it. A tiny little pun that wouldn't, like that, betrays this entire other, this other philosophy basically. Where like you can dig into it if you want and get this, but you don't have to. I really do appreciate any series that could do that. My gosh. That is Battle Angel Alita, Volume 2. I'm sorry, I cut that off for a moment. Okay, just making sure I'm still recording. I stopped recording, but then I quickly picked it up again. So anyways, man, what a series. What a fantastic series. I hope that they continue with the same pattern. Like I said before, uh, like when I said that I wanted a bunch of, like small self-contained stories, I didn't mean that in the sense of like all I want is self-contained stories. What I meant was like I want something like this basically. I didn't want like one ongoing thing that, has like one villain and one like just general thing that, goes over a ton of volumes. I really like the way it's set up so far over these 2 volumes. And if we continue this for a while of just, these mostly self-contained stories that do like progress Alita's characterization or like, just the world in general a bit, but are still like, these very different views of the world, I'll be super happy. Anyways, that's Battle Angel Alita. It's getting late, so I'll leave you with just these two. I will definitely record more later though. Oh my gosh, what a series. So bye for now. Yeah, yeah.